This is PT Carroll for MMA On Point, and today I'm in London at the Cornflake Private Cinema to speak to one of the greatest showmen in the sport, Michael Venom Page. After watching a feast of your festive walkouts, your in-cage antics, what do you have planned for this fight? This is a big one. I mean, because it's so, like, you know, it's a rubber match. Do you start going, we're going to have to rule all this, we're going to just have to peel all this stuff back and just get down to business, or what way do you approach it?
This is before I had even lost. 50 Cent had actually posted a clip of Anderson Silva getting knocked out. And I don't think it was that one. It might have been a different clip. And I had loads of American fans just shouting abuse at me. And I'm like, what? But everyone assumed it was me.
Getting knocked out?
Getting knocked out.
Right.
So everyone's like, see, that's what you get for Showboat. And I was like, what? You guys are idiots, man. Like, obviously he didn't tag anybody, and then you have some people on there like, you guys are down, Miss Anderson Silva. But a lot of people were already ready to give it to me, and I'm like, this is what it's gonna feel like the second I lose a fight. But like, it doesn't matter, because again, a lot of people that like again, even with Weidman, obviously Weidman's a big name, but Anderson Silva's still gonna be the bigger name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, these guys are just as much, they're showboating because they can, and because of how good they actually are. And like I said, they'll still last longer out of the two people. So,
is it a hard thing to know? Like, because we talked about it earlier. Like, you know, there are guys because of the way you are. You know, there are guys that are praying for your downfall. Mm-hmm. Is that a hard thing to live with? Like, you know, do you think about it when it does happen? Are you like, oh, here we go? Like, does it even enter your thought? You're just like, well, that's just the way it is.
Nah, to be fair, I've been, you know, touch wood, I've been lucky in the sense that obviously the fight I lost against Lima, people were more impressed about how I took the loss than me getting knocked out. You still get people that, you know, they talk their crap. But there are a lot of people like, oh man, you took the loss really well. And I was like, I don't know what you expected me to do, like, after losing. Because obviously a lot of people had watched the interview afterwards. When I did the Bellator scrum. But yeah, so I had quite a lot of praise in the time I lost. So I was expecting what I had when people thought I got knocked out, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So I've been lucky in that sense. But yeah, I don't really care anymore. It doesn't really bother me. You
know, you've been like the winning side of so many viral moments, so many of them. Like, obviously there's this one now with Lima. Does that hurt at all, or are you just like, this is the way the game is?
Oh no, it's definitely the way the game is. Like, you know, and I feel like I'd be stupid to feel any kind of way, because I've done it to so many people.
How dare you mean me?
You know what I mean? Like, I've done it to so many people. And it's funny, there was a video with, I just forgot his name, it's bad. But he does a lot. He animates a lot of people's knockouts. And
is it Boss Logic or one of those dudes?
It's similar to. It's not Boss Logic. It's another guy.
Come on, lads. You surely know. One of his knows.
Yeah. There's like he did the Thor hammer.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
So and his stuff is amazing, and I've liked so many of his stuff. And when I saw the video, I was like, that was good, man. Like,
can we get him on board for my next one?
I spoke to him a couple of times before. And I was like, nah, I gotta lie to you, that video was sick. He's like, I don't mean any disrespect. I was like, bro, it's you, that's the job that you do.
Talking to you like this.
That's the job that you do. I was like, and the video was sick. Like, it is what it is. Right now, in my head at the moment, it's peel it all back, get down to business. And I'm always gonna have elements of myself in there, but I'm trying to put him down quite early. And I'm doing that because I want to make a point about just my ability and what I'm capable of doing against somebody that everybody knows is dangerous. Everybody knows, you know, has he won it 3 times or twice? He's been a champion. You know, he's gone up a weight division trying to fight Masasi. I don't think he got successful. He wasn't bad. It shows you his ability. So, yeah, but I want to go in there and just lay him to rest.
I was saying to you before this, we were talking about your cultural reference you make. You have now become a cultural reference. Skepta, in his latest song, Bellator, talks about you. I mean, how does that feel? Like, I mean, when you hear that, like, is that an insane feeling?
Yeah, that's definitely, again, something that I want to tick off. There's a couple of things that I'd like to have seen happen. Weird enough, like, even like being like a South Park character or something, and like one of those kind of like, you know, historic cartoons like The Simpsons or something, and like being a character there and actually being featured in one of those kind of things, being in people's rapping, not in the videos, but like what's actually happened now with Skepta. And again, he never told me, so it did make it a lot nicer. He didn't kind of tell me it was coming, so I was already kind of sitting there waiting for it to come out. He just released it, and he had like a release party at 12, and about 12:30, I got a message from someone like, "Oh my God, have you heard the Skepta tune?" I'm like, "Why are you messaging me at this time? Like, I don't understand what's going on." So, "Oh no, you need to listen to this. You need to listen to this." Like, she sent me the track and everything. Listened to it. I was like, "Wow!" We was in the house just dancing away, loving it, man. So, and obviously I know Skepta, but again, didn't expect it to happen.
And it's a huge one, right? Because Skepta is the guy who kind of got grime to the US, 100%. Drake picking up all this stuff. Like, this is going to have an imprint.
Probably one of the biggest artists in the UK, easily.
Absolutely. And kind of an influencer, cultural influencer as well.
Yeah.
So he has to walk out now and play the tune for it.
That's the thing. So I was, I spoke to him a couple of times, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. Don't worry, I'm going to be there." I'm like, "All right, cool. So we're going to..."
If he doesn't, I can do it. Like, I'll be in the crowd. I can probably do it, you know. Similar kind of rappers.
We'll work with it.
yeah. I don't think I can dance as well. Do you have any, like, grands of, you obviously think about these things, bigger the better. It keeps on getting bigger, as we're saying about Skepta and everything. You're talking about South Park characters, things like that. Like, do you have any, like, ultimate show in your mind? Like, we've had things like Mayweather, McGregor. You can see this Jake Paul thing happening now. Do you have anything massive that you could put that showmanship on the biggest stage, in the world? Do you have dreams outside of MMA, basically, for what you bring to the table? Because I feel like a lot of people in the world want that, not just the MMA fans.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. To be fair, I don't think I know exactly what. I just know I'm going to keep doing big things. Like you say, I'm going to keep growing. It's going to keep getting bigger and better every time, not just from the fighting and just as a personality, and just being able to do a lot with that influence. Yeah, in terms of what exactly it is, not too sure yet. I can give you guys a little secret now. I actually wrote a script that we are developing for a TV series, which is going to be quite big. We're trying to partner with like 50, because he's trying to get his stuff over here in the UK, bigger in the UK.
So you wrote this script?
Yeah.
Holy, that's incredible, man.
Yeah. So, and obviously, once we get it to that point where we're developing it, it's definitely something, like acting is something I want to get into anyway. So it's definitely, I'll feature in it, but I kind of, because it's my baby, I kind of want to make sure it's the way.
Is it about you?
No, not at all. Can't say too much more.
Oh my God, man. That is so cool.
But yeah, we're working on stuff.
That's incredible. So what would you prefer to be remembered by, right? If you had to pick one, you're obviously an unbelievable knockout artist, an unbelievable striker, or the showman. Like, what do you think people, when everything is said and done with your career, champion, knockout artist, showman, which one would you like them to remember you by? I know you're all of those things, but which one means most to you?
To be fair, I'd say showman. I think showman probably means most to me, because I spend a lot of time even just thinking about what I'm going to do as a show. And I do see the fighting side. The fact that I see the fighting side as a show is, I think, different to a lot of fighters anyway. They go in there. Some people are showmen, but it's just part of them, but they're fighters. I'm a fighter 100%, but I enjoy, like I said, I enjoy making people get their money's worth when they come to an event. I enjoy stealing the show. So I always say, I've said it for years, because people have been like, "Oh, you're not a main event on this one. Does that make you feel?" I'm like, I'm always the main event. It doesn't matter. Like, if you can put as many people ahead of me. No one's talking about them at the end of the show. They're talking about me. So you can put me you can put me first on the card. Doesn't matter. I'm always going to give you something to remember. So I'd definitely say I'll probably be remembered, or like to be remembered as someone that put on a show, so a showman. We
were watching the Cyborg clip there, and you were saying, the noise. You obviously had no idea it happened at the time, and you get the Pokemon hat, and you roll the Pokeball on him. I'm just wondering, after the fact, when they tell you like the man's skull is fractured, do you feel bad in the moment, like, oh shit, I can't believe I did that?
100%. It's even when I actually watched that, it's weird. Anytime I watch that clip and you hear it, I still have that kind of weird response as if I wasn't there. If it wasn't me doing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's still the same response because you're just looking at it from a different angle. So again, as a fan almost, or somebody just watching, I can imagine, because so many people said they were there and they heard the noise echo around, and it's just, and when you know what happened, it's still kind of like, oh. But that guy, one thing I have to say, that guy's a tough man.
Oh, stop, yeah.
That guy's absolutely tough. For you to walk out yourself, I know when people would be stretching out, they'd want to just, he walked out. I think he went to the hospital to check what's going on. They told him they was going to do the surgery there. He didn't want to do the surgery there, so he checked himself out against the doctor's thing. I think he flew back as well, which definitely against because of the pressure.
Yeah.
And he just didn't care. He just did everything. And obviously got his surgery. He's fine. It's thankfully everything is good. But to hear back. Literally the next day, my sister sent me a picture of the skull. Now, like I said, all my family are jokers, and they'll take the piss. Yeah. So when she sent me the picture, I was cracking up. I was like, "Oh, you're an idiot, man." She's like, "I haven't edited this." She's like,
shit.
"This is your thing." I was like, "Whatever, man." She's like, "Go online." I went online and I was like, "Oh shit." Didn't know, because again, my coach said he saw it, but didn't want to tell me anything then, because he wanted me to just enjoy the win, so he didn't say anything. And like I said, she was the first person to kind of like let me know what had happened like the next day. But it was
mad.
Mad.
I was on a holiday, like a sun holiday with my missus when this happened, and it was a crazy moment for me because MMA is still a sport. Like, it's not like soccer, right? But everybody in the hotel lobby the next day, I swear to God, at least like just 20 odd tables, I'd say like 10 are like have this clip up on their phones watching it, and I'm like, this is such a big moment for this guy's career, but there's this negative thing that's coming into it as well. Is it hard to balance that, like where you should be so happy because you've done the thing you've set out to do, but then there's a flip side to it. Is that a hard thing to deal with?
Yeah, it was. To be fair, the only thing I wanted to kind of know for sure, because we kept calling the Bellator staff and they kept kind of referring me to one of his manager team or something to say, all I wanted to know is he was cool.
Yeah.
He was all right. Because at first I didn't even know that was even possible. So that's what I'm saying. That even when he turned over, I thought because I might have caught his nose. So I was thinking like broken nose, that's a very common thing in combat. So cool. But then, so when I saw him and I'm like, geez, like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So, getting back and forth with all these different people, trying to find out what's going on. Wasn't hearing too much from his team. I think maybe he was blocking it. But then the Bellator guys were like, no, he's fine. He's going to do the surgery. He just needs to get plates done and blah, blah. And then it was kind of like, okay, cool. Like,
could you enjoy it then?
I could enjoy it. I could enjoy it again because I'm like, okay, he's fine. Like, it's still like a crazy, but then just literally every hour you're just reminded of it because somebody's posting it. It's getting posted on this and that, and it was doing mad circles. Like, that's probably obviously the one thing I'm most known for. But I think it's because of the celebration, obviously the win itself, and then the injury, all that at the same time.
And Pokemon Go had just come out, right? So people were going crazy. Yeah.
A thank you from the guys at the Pokemon team.
Nintendo or whatever it was,
Nintendo saying we appreciate that, that celebration.
Did you get a few goodies? Did you get a few games?
Actually, I didn't.
That's bad form. Jesus, that's bad.
But because I think they were the management at the time were trying to get them to do some kind of partnership, and they were like, because we are angled towards the kids, we don't want to have somebody breaking someone's as a thing, so we don't want to partner on it. So fair enough.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
So just about everything you need in a fight, you lose off the liver shot. It can come back. Cyborg runs into the jump knee, and it's over.
Do you think? I've said this as well. Like, I mean, I feel like so many people have a wrong impression of how that first fight went with Lima. When you watch it back, it's pretty incredible showing from you up until obviously the end. Yeah. I mean, you're causing them all types of trouble in the first round in the stand-up. Then it goes to the ground. You stay completely safe, wrap up the guard. Then the beginning of the second round, you rock him again. And then it becomes this weird in-between moment where you're getting back to your feet and obviously you suffer the knockout. But it's pretty much the most, up until that point, you were doing, it was all pretty much plain sailing for you up until that point. Do you think the knockout and the viral nature of it and who you are has kind of taken away from what people remember from that fight?
Yeah, I always say I feel like I got to a point where win or lose, I'm going to go viral. So I'm either going to win and it's going to be a viral moment. I'm going to lose and it's going to be a viral moment because, as you say, it's MVP. So I'm kind of happy that I have that type of influence. It shows, there's a lot of people watching, positive or negative. There's a lot of people watching me, which is good. But yeah, it doesn't add any pressure whatsoever. I just know, and I'm confident in my ability. I'm confident with, as you say, what I feel was one-way traffic up until. I just need to make sure I get to my destination this time.
But it must give you confidence knowing that you rocked them. There's a big right hand, I believe, at the start of the second, particularly really staggers them.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be able to land these shots again. You've obviously a fantastic striker. Like, I know it's a weird thing to say because you lost the first fight, but you must have a lot of confidence based on what's happened in the first fight.
Yeah, and I think that's I've been telling people this a lot, that if I felt overwhelmed or completely dominated, I would not rush or would not be calling his name at all. I'd take my time, do my stuff in the background and build myself up until I feel like I'm there. But immediately I knew what I'd done wrong. I knew that I was pretty much in charge of that fight and it was going my way. So I am confident 100%. And I'm even more confident this time because I've felt him. You know what I mean? I know what I'm capable of, but I've also felt what the worst of it could be. So I'm going in there like, who cares?
Do you feel like you get enough respect for what you're doing on the ground yet? Because I think so many people have you pigeonholed as striker. Obviously, you're a brilliant striker. Look, you have a great pedigree in striker. But you've shown us your ground game against Lima. You showed it against Daly as well. I mean, do you feel like you're always going to be put into that pigeonhole as striker because of what you do on your feet?
Yeah, 100%.
Or do you think people have a grown respect for your ground game?
Nah, 100%. I feel people are always going to be like, oh yeah, he's as a striker. I get people even now bump into different people and they're like, I hope you're working your grappling. And I was like, the fact that people struggle to get me to the floor should show you how good my grappling is just in itself. I know it's not as difficult as you think to grab somebody, but then trying to get them to a place is difficult, and it shows that I understand what I'm doing. I could go out there and just be like, no, let me show everybody that I can grapple, but that's not my game, and then I'm taken away from what MVP can deliver.
You break my heart if you shot a double leg at the start of a fight, mate. Are you joking me? People be ripping up their tickets.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and don't get me wrong, I got like cheeky sweeps and takedowns that I like to do, but it's more a case of just burning somebody out, and also again, it's part of that whole frustration of demoralizing somebody. One, they try to go for a takedown, I prevent them, or I sweep them to the floor, and straight away they're like, well, where can I beat this guy? That's kind of adds to it. It means I'm just showing you that you have to stay or go. This fight goes wherever I want it to go. You are not in control of this at all. So obviously I've got attributes of wrestling and stuff that you have to incorporate, but I like to show the flashy knockdowns and so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be times where I'm going to have to try and go for a takedown. Tactically, it might be to steal around or and my coach would be like, I need you to get I need a takedown from you. And we've been working on takedowns and stuff that we're going to be doing, but in general, if it's going according to plan, I'd never be on the floor. There's no need.
I was really impressed with the fact that after the Lima fight, he was the one name you kept saying. Like, I mean, every time we talked to you, like, there's only one fight I want. Do you think that shocked people as well? Like, this guy wants straight back in there with this dude as soon as possible. Like, did it give you a good chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, no, that is something that is part of my character as well. I'm a person that takes note of anything that anybody does. Like, I'm talking in general. I'm quite petty, but even in the gym. So if somebody catches me with a good shot or gets me and I get frustrated about it, I note it down and I have to get you back. Like, that's just part of my personality. I've always kind of had this kind of friendly chip on the shoulder though, but I take it seriously. And I've genuinely held a grudge for, I think it's like the longest grudge I held is like 7 years. And I'll explain it. A guy beat me. We're friends now, so I'm not going to mention him. But,
name and shame.
So a guy, we fought and I was 15.
Is this like in a competition?
In the kickboxing competition.
All right.
He was the main man at the time. And he's from the States. He came over. I managed to beat him, and for me that was massive because he was the guy he was on magazines and this and that, and I beat him, and I'm 15-year-old. This guy's a grown man. I think he's like 26 or something.
Is Raymond Daniels?
No. Raymond was there though.
He'll tell us.
But yeah, afterwards we were having a conversation. Obviously, I'm buzzing just to be standing with all these amazing fighters, and everyone's talking. I'm just standing there, and the fight between me and him come up, and he's kind of like, "Oh yeah, kid, you're good, but you're a pussy." And I was like,
Oh shit!
what? So I kind of look around thinking, like, is he joking? And everyone's kind of like, ooh. Like not saying anything. I was just like, I can't believe you said that to me.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
15-year-old against a grown man.
Exactly. And no, legit went home. I remember a magazine I had, and I remember that he was in there. So I cut him out. Yeah, stuck him on my wall, and he was there for 7 years until I fought him again. And when I fought him again, I was trying to punch holes through him, and he didn't remember any of this. So, and it's weird because this was on stage. This was in America now. Or on stage, all the Americans there, obviously, they're most cheering for the Americans. It was England versus America. I'm punching holes through this guy. And at the end of the fight, I beat him. And at the end of the fight, he's like, man, you hit real hard. I was like, it's funny you say that because you called me a pussy. And he's like, what is it? Is it a grudge match? And I took my gloves off, yeah, and everyone ran on stage. I was like, it can be a grudge. I was fuming, yeah. And it got broken up, blah, blah, blah. Later on that evening, someone came and knocked on my door. I looked through the door, saw it was him, opened the door, ready to just like, let's go, like.
Holy shit.
And he's like, wait, I just want to come and say, like, I was a bit, I was very immature when I was younger, and he just apologized for it, and we've been cool, man, like, ever since. But that's how petty I am.
Well, I mean, that's incredible. Like, is that the same type of energy you're bringing into this Lima fight, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. But that's me anyway now. It's not I don't need the same fire to get to the same place anymore. I just know if you do something to me, I'm going to get you back. And even the guys in the gym, they know anytime something happens to me, everyone's like, damn, shit. He's going to be on one now.
Is that why you were so annoyed with the Keely fight that time, the Richard Keely fight? Because I can remember he came out and he was acting the big one, right? He was saying a lot of things, and you just weren't into it that time. And then you came backstage, I interviewed you, and you were like, I don't see how this is going to put me in that world where I get this match again. Is that what that was about? Because it felt like there was like, you're like, what the hell am I doing here kind of thing with that fight.
Yeah, it was silly. The thing is, like, I kind of knew what I was doing at the same time. It's like, it was just, this guy's running his mouth, and I bit on it, to be fair. I shouldn't have said anything, but I responded. Then he kind of went off a little bit. Bellator was like, oh, that's perfect. Everyone's talking about this. You want to fight? And I'm kind of like, seriously? Like, really though? And they're like, yeah. I was like, I'm getting paid the same amount of money, yeah? And they're like, yeah, all right, make it happen. So I kind of knew. I was like, to be fair, that was just like he was just a cash cow. It's like, it was a quick bank robbery. But it's annoying that he genuinely thought he was anywhere in my class at all. And then I hate when people do this, and it's the same with my last opponent. My last opponent. My last opponent. The excuses afterwards, I hate hearing that. Like, if I lose, I lose, fine. And I feel like everyone should kind of handle it the same way. They don't afterwards come back and be like, oh yeah, I had an injury and that's why this happened and then that happened. Don't try and steal or take it back. Like, everyone has the same amount of time. I've got constant injuries all the time. But when I get in there's no excuses. If you win, you can say whatever the hell you want. Whether it be, oh yeah, you had an injury and you're fine. That's fine, you won. But you can't lose and say that. So I have no respect for the guys that do that.
That's the one thing I felt about that fight was, like, with the matchmakers, I was like, even though I've seen the guys you fought, but there was all the online people, oh, this is another can. I was like, yeah, he's proven that he can fight way better dudes than that. Was that part of it as well? You're like, I don't need to go back down the ladder here. I want to keep going up.
Obviously, the whole point of doing stuff was to get back to the rematch.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, I was being pretty active in that time. So I was kind of like, it happens. If it happens, it happens. Fine. We'll run with it. But I said to them, if I'm fine, I want another fight. Afterwards. I want to keep going, and which is why Japan happened, and so
that was a very quick turnaround, right?
Yeah. So I had like 3 fights in like 90 days or something.
Wow.
90-something days. But yeah, like I was making a point. Like I'm trying to get back to someone. I don't need him to go any further ahead. I want to catch up to him and get that fight back.
Do you think that's gone now, finally? Lima, Daly, Anderson, you fought all these guys. You've been fighting good guys the whole time, really. It's just because of, again, who you are. You're a polarizing dude. Yeah. But I think, this is going to be finally put to bed, I feel like, if you're going against Lima. Or do you think it's always going to be?
I think it's always going to be now. I was saying in another interview, I think what it is, people are... I spark in people either like, man, this guy's amazing, or I hate this guy to bits.
Polarizing.
Yeah, these are the guys that are the ones that comment in the same way. And when I beat Lima this time, these are the guys that are going to be like, well, Lima was on his way out. He just had 2 losses. So yeah, he's a can now. It's like, okay. So I don't believe that will ever shift. And I think people are just accustomed to saying that about MVP. So, when I win, the other guys that can. If I lose, see, there you go. Like, that guy's amazing, obviously. So it doesn't bother me. That's what I said, that I don't listen to those kind of guys.
I think you're well capable of getting this done against Lima the second time around, but obviously there's a new man holding the belt now. Mm-hmm. And it's not a fight that people be rubbing their hands together to see, though, right? Like, he's not like Mr. Put arses in seats, is he?
No.
Like, is that kind of like... does that kind of give you some reservations about it? Like, as opposed to the Lima fight it had the potential to be like a firefight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this guy is going to try and put you on your back immediately.
Yeah. It just changes it does change the game. But to be fair, it inspires I have to do a completely different work. My camp would be completely different. Because in order to force this man to fight in my area, I have to be equally good at defending wrestling, which means my wrestling game is it's going to shoot up.
Norby's going to be put through a lot of rounds in the gym.
Everybody, but I think we'll go and we'll just be bringing in as many different people to just do that and put me on my back, and even the guys that are the jiu-jitsu guys to try and keep me on my back, because it's equally important to learn how to stand up. Something that I feel like Chuck Liddell was underestimated with as well is I've never seen someone stand up on Tito the way he did, but that also shows how good his wrestling is. Whether he cared to show it is because he didn't care to show it because he was so good at knocking people out and was happy in that area. But the fact that I seen Tito take him down, he's like, get up, stand up, and push him back, and like no, I want to be here, shows how how good he was in that area. So I'm going to spend a lot more time on my back with amazing talented jiu-jitsu guys and wrestling guys on top of me, standing back up, or these guys trying to take me back to the floor. And even after that, the lactate that's going to build up straight after that, I need to be hitting pads to make sure I still have the ability to, you've seen it in like
you don't want to freeze up.
McGregor, in the 4th round, McGregor started landing shots because he was a bit tired. He started landing shots, but the shots weren't as effective as
weren't potent at all.
Yeah, because he's now too lactic from having him being on his back trying to fight him off the whole time. So it's just completely different. So it's just a different camp, and I know what I need to do, and I still believe I can do it.
I see you like as a big part of this golden era of UK MMA at the moment. I think this is the best group of fighters representing the UK ever. Do you think some people, the casual fans, forget about it because it's not like forget about the guys who are involved in the Bellator side of things, and even PFL, Loughnane, guys like this? Do you think they sometimes forget because they aren't in the UFC? Do you still think that's a thing?
Yeah, no, definitely. UFC, their brand is so big. It's just they're a marketing machine. I think they're amazing at marketing. They've literally over the years turned the sport into UFC. Everyone comes. You do UFC, don't you? Like, yeah, I can't even bother to explain. Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's true.
It's become that kind of thing. So. Yeah, 100%. People still do. I feel like I've helped with people understanding, this Bellator things, because a lot of people have said, I only watch it because you're on it. So I think I've kind of helped with that, and there's other characters that have helped with that as well. And it is definitely growing, and people's understanding of the sport, because the sport is growing, that, okay, the sport is MMA and there's different, shows. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's people are still being educated.
I think it's well known you get paid a lot more than these top welterweights in the UFC. You're more well known, a bigger fan favorite than a lot of the guys in the UFC. But there's still people kill me if I didn't ask you. Do you ever see it in your future, you being in the UFC?
You know what? Yes, and it's only because I feel there's some great fights to be made. I just feel like it again. Like I said, I'm a host. I feel like it's deserving of the people following me to see that. You know, me at least once get one contract in the UFC and show them my ability over there as well. When it's going to happen, don't know.
Final one, I promise, and thank you so much for your time. Prediction. It's the cliche, mate. What is your prediction for the Douglas Lima rematch? Oh, sorry, are we Douglas or Diego? You know I fuck this up all the time. It's Douglas. Jesus, I got it right.
Somebody else is we're doing it before. They're like, oh yeah, so Diego.
Let me ask that question again, just so. What is your prediction for the Douglas Lima rematch?
The goal is first round. I want to put so much pressure on him and land so many shots on him that he just falls over. I'd say the second prediction is in that frustrating moment when he's landing shots, he's not able to land his shots, he's not able to land his kicks, he's going to try and grab me and stall it a little bit. Nothing's going to happen, as you've seen before. He can't do much on the floor with me. I don't think he's going to do much even in clinches and stuff. But he might drag it into the next round, but that's all it's going to do. He'll drag it into the next round, and then the heat will be straight back on him, and he'll be out.
Well, mate, I cannot wait for it. Thank you so much, man. It was brilliant to pick your brain, man. Unbelievable. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to get it done.
Lovely, man. Is that us?
That's it, yeah.
Man, thanks so much for that. That was fucking brilliant, man.